Hey YouTube, I'm Mike the Rambling He-Witch. So I finished up a video on the essential steps of a Wiccan ceremony. I wanted to follow up that video with a video on altars, what they do, how you set them up. Well, an altar is basically a spiritual workplace. It's where you pray to your deities, it's where you connect with energies, and it's where you cast your spells. Every altar is as unique as the Wiccan or witch or pagan who constructs it.
Alright folks, so this is how I set up my altar. This isn't the most traditional way to do it, however it's what works for me, and hopefully it works for you too. So first I set up my representations of the god and the goddess. First I put my goddess in the left, and then I'll put the god in the right. Statues can be very pricey, and if you can't afford them right now, don't worry, there are other options. You can use a seashell to represent the goddess, or you can use a white flower or a rose, or you can use candles that are black or silver, since those colors are associated with the goddess. For the god, you could also use a pine cone or a fallen antler, or you could use candles that are white and gold, since those are colors that are associated with the god. If none of these representations really work for you, if they don't call for you, that's fine. You can do exactly what I did when I first started out. I went online and found some really good pictures that I really vibed with of the god and the goddess. Then I printed them out and I put them in these little cheap picture frames that I picked up from the dollar store. Next, we're going to put all of the elements in their appropriate cardinal corners. Now first, it's important to figure out which direction you're facing in. Right now, I am facing the west, which means I am sitting in the east, and that means I'm going to start with air. To represent air, I'm going to put out a stick of incense. You could also use a feather, a bell, anything you saw in the air video that I posted. Next, I'm going to put fire in the south. I like to use a candle, especially a red candle. Red is the color most associated with fire, but you could also use a bowl of ash, or you could use an electric candle, or anything you saw in my fire video. Next, I'm going to put my holy water in the west for water. You could also use seashells, coral, a mirror, anything that you saw in my water video. Next, I'm going to put a little cauldron of salt in the north for earth. You can also put out stones or a living plant or anything you saw in my earth video. So when I know I'm about to perform a spell or a ceremony where I'm going to need one of my ritual tools, that's when I'll break them out and place them in the proper elemental corner. So I'll put my wand in the east for air. I'll put my athame in the south for fire. I'll put my chalice in the west for water, along with my offering bowl. And then in the north, I'll place my pentacle. Usually at this point, I'll put whatever spell tools or ingredients I'll be using right in the center of the altar. If it's a Sabbath, one of the Wiccan holidays, I'll decorate the altars with more colors and more symbols. Like, for instance, we just had Ostara. I would put down eggs. For Samhain, which is around Halloween, I'll put out like little jack-o'-lanterns. Like I said before, the altar is as unique as whoever constructs it. So as you make it, you can decorate it to represent as much as your personality as you want.
And that's one way to set up an altar. Feel free to look at different pagan traditions and different Wiccan traditions and see how they set up altars and figure out what way best works for you. Or you can even make up your own way to set up an altar. Try different positions for the god and the goddess, and try different positions for your tools and your elements. Figure out what appeals most to you. And that's it for this video. Thank you folks so much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any questions or topic you'd like to learn about in the future, be sure to post them in the comment sections below. Thanks again, and blessed be.